Sairam, everybody. Thank you so much for your feedback. Recently, I met someone who told me how inspired she felt after going through the playlist and how she took to reading Sai Satcharitra and just finished reading Sai Satcharitra and how inspired and motivated she feels after reading this book. So, this chapter 8 is on Hindu Muslim unity, and it starts with how Sai Baba has characteristics of a Sadguru, and it defines who a Sadguru really is, and how the author feels inept to describe the magnificence and the depth of character of a Sadguru, because we are just lesser mortals and they are divine souls who have ascended the earth and are walking the earth to uplift us lesser mortals into divinity. And someone very special very recently told me that life is a sum total of everything, all that is around us, which is something very akin to what our Vedas and Shastras say, that if someone else is unhappy, if someone else is happy, in that lies our unhappiness and happiness, because we are all walking the earth together and we need to pull each other out of each other's circumstances and walk towards the light. So my sole intention is to motivate all of you so that you can walk towards the light. And what better book to start with but this? So this chapter 8 then goes on to describe how Baba was used to be a little temperamental, a little moody, sometimes very deep, very serious, very quiet, sometimes very soft spoken, and sometimes he used to find anger. And I think as a bhakt I have also taken to that characteristics. Sometimes I'm very quiet, sometimes I'm very soft spoken, and sometimes I find anger too. And I may not mean it, but I do once in a while, because I believe that in life you have to be firm, because you're walking on the path of righteousness and there are no grays, it's just black or white when you're walking on the path of justice and righteousness. So then this chapter talks about Hindu Muslim unity and how Baba could foresee, had a far sight, and he started with this festival of Ram Navami celebration along with Urus festival of Muslim devotees, and they would all celebrate it together. The Hindus would carry out the flags, and the Muslims would carry out sandalwood and loban and other incense, and take out a march all the way up till masjid, and then sprinkle the vibhuti, the ashes of chandan and incense onto the masjid walls, and the Hindus would hoist their flags, and that's how they all came together. The entire village came together and celebrated two different festivals, which was Ram Navami and Urus. Somewhere during the Ram Navami is also called as Seema Lungan. It is not mentioned in this chapter, but I am giving a holistic view. And where Baba had once premonitioned his time of crossing over, and he had once said that mark this day, this is the time I will cross over. So in his finding of anger, he says this, and only a very handful of devotees could fathom what is the deeper meaning behind his words, because Baba always used to have a habit of saying deep things but not directly. So this being one of them. One very important thing that Sai Baba told his devotees in this chapter was his promise to always look after the needs of his devotees, whether it be their need for food or clothing. And he reassured his devotees that there would be no dearth of clothes and food in his devotees' houses. Whoever remembers him with love would always be taken care of. So rise above these little needs of food and clothing and only devote yourself to the spiritual way of life and uplift your life. And I hope all of us can follow that in letter and spirit. Om Sai Ram. And now let's move on to chapter 9.